All right, and welcome to the South Jersey Cultural Alliance. My name is Raymond Tyler, and I'm taking over their social media for the month of February, bringing you all kinds of great guest segments and a lot of fun stuff. Right about now, we're going to spend a few moments with a friend of mine who I would call him South Jersey Sammy Davis Jr. Why? Because he's a bona fide triple threat. He's a published poet. He is a drum circle curator and moderator. And uh, if you happen to be watching Jerry Springer or Maury Povich or anything on Channel 17 or Fox 29 here in the area, or probably nationwide, you've seen him play everything from an ailing elder to the voice of God. Please help me welcome Brian Johnson. How you doing, Brian?
I'm good, Ray. Thanks for that intro.
Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. It's a snowy day. It's nice to be in. Good to see you again and catch up. We haven't talked in a minute, so it's been great.
Great. So let's talk some art. Okay, so first of all, before we're going to finish strong with the acting part.
Yeah.
Tell us how you got into poetry and tell us a little bit about your book.
Wow, that took me back. Poetry started, there were some things going on in my household. I needed to make some mental and emotional, spiritual changes. And I found out about poetry that was being read up in Camden County with Sandra Turner Barnes, who just passed away not long
ago. Yeah, I have to bring you back because we're doing a special on her. Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Please let me know what's going on. I'd love to hear that.
Okay, all right.
She was my mentor, and she actually put me out there. It just kind of pressed the fact that I need to do the book. And so first of all, to go back a little bit, for a couple of years, I was going there twice a month, getting my chops, you might say. And then I started connecting with you and some of the promotions that you were doing here with the poetry readings, and always trying to make sure that our local entertainers and creatives could get their work out and get their expressions out. So between Sandra and you, actually, that's how I got started. In fact, I quoted you in my foreword because you had told me something about making sure that the book came out in a timely fashion. Like if you keep waiting, you told me the story. If you keep waiting, and because you got new ideas and so forth, 10 years later, the book is still sitting there unpublished, and you might have put all those ideas out, but nobody else has seen them. So I said, you know what? This is what I know now. This is as far as I can get. So let me just go ahead and move forward with that. So Sandra lit the fire. You finished up the flame, if you will. And so I actually put it together because of you two people. That's the truth. And then going up there too, and just getting my chops, starting to read in front of people. And my circumstances were pretty heavy. So I actually had a lot of fodder to put into the book that address personal situations. It is an eclectic book. I have social issues.
What's the name of the book?
Physical. Mountains Moved. And in fact, sitting on the back burner is the sequel, because the mountains are moved and now there's a valley to move through. So I'm working on that right about now. It's interesting you asked me that, but that's where it's at now. And the Mountains Moves theme has to do with mountains move with each handful of soil. It requires patience. You might have a mountain in front of you, but if you're diligent and you keep hustling this thing, eventually you turn around, you realize that not only has one mountain gotten behind you, but a whole range of them, because of your perseverance, the things that you've learned, the way you expand and grow. That strength of character came out of the persistence, and the secret to success is consistency of purpose. And that's why the book came forward at all. But it never comes forward on an island. Like, you always have a community that is a motivating factor, the circumstances in life that give you fodder, again, something that you have to write about because you feel passionate about, etc. So that's how the book got started. It's how it got me out. Actually, it got me out of my funk, because to have something else to give focus to and to give voice to my own feelings is part of the therapy that the book actually provides. So it became my therapy, and so many other things happened because of the mountain that was moved by the therapy, that I had all of these extra qualities that came along with me, you know. So I had a whole mountain range now that had my back, if you will, and they were right behind me, standing tall like sentinels, you know.
Like Field of Dreams, if you write the book, it will happen.
Amen. Well, yes, sir. In fact, one of my favorite movies. Yes, sir. Just
If you
because of
build
that.
it, they
Yeah.
will come. If they build it,
And
will
it's
come.
weird, like people looking at you like you'd be crazy, you know. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, well,
yeah.
you know, there's nothing that has ever happened to advance humankind that was regular and ordinary. In order for it to be a new thing, it has to be somebody who takes the adventure seriously and goes beyond what the norm is to create the new pattern, the new paradigm, or the new outlook, and you know, the understanding of conscience. Anybody, if you got enough people who love in a room, the entire community can change by that
Listen,
kind of love.
yeah.
And
One of my favorite quotes, and I think I'm messing this up, is if God was within the realm of our understanding, there would be no need for miracles.
wow, amen. Wouldn't even be a word. Wouldn't
Now,
be.
listen,
Wouldn't be a word.
unfortunately, I have to move on, and one day I'll bring you back just to talk about the book and the poetry experience. As a matter of fact, I do have a poetry segment that I'm producing for South Jersey Cultural Alliance. I'd love to have you do coin, but
Oh man, I haven't even thought about that in a minute.
but let's
Yeah.
move on.
Yes.
How'd you get into drumming and drum circles?
You know, it's funny. We had the shop Urban Legend. We had two locations, one in Hamilton and one in Smithville. We closed the one in Hamilton when a lot of things took place with the government, the financial sector, and the country was in a bad way. But we maintained the other, and by doing that, we wanted to do something in the community that we thought would be cool to do. So at that time, my late wife said, let's just call this gentleman. We had a friend of ours who came over and did a drum circle for the community that was sponsored by our shop, and our shop was Urban Legend. Once he did it, we paid him a nice sum of money, did a nice job. But my late wife, who knew me since childhood, knew that I could play and I was a percussionist. She said, well, why am I paying this guy to do what you can do? You know, and so she said, I'm not doing it anymore. You're going to do it. So actually, my late wife threw me out there and said, threw me under the bus. But the bus moved me along. I didn't go under it. I actually jumped on it, and it just moved our entire family. What's the word I'm looking for? Passion forward to make sure the community was more of a synthesis of ideas and diversities and so forth. Everybody could get together and understand each other from their various platforms of religion, philosophy, and so forth. The drum circle is indicative of that. The whole geometry of it as a circle, playing drums and so forth, the syncopations, the dance, the freedom, everything that comes from that, and the sense of community, it's electrifying and addicting. And it wound up being something I just love to do. It blossomed into a lot of different things. Like right now, I haven't been doing those things anymore. We since closed the shop, but I'm in nursing homes doing drum circle work in nursing homes with a bit of a twist. We use the music of the decades of our clients' experiences, all the residents' experiences, and add drumming to it, and use the original music in order to stimulate their own histories and their thoughts and good feelings, let the endorphins flow from their own past. We use that music and the drumming and bring it up to date and have a wonderful time. So it's actually segued into something that's, for me, actually became more meaningful, because to be able to treat our elders and serve our elders is everything to me. I'm so tribal. I'm very tribal.
Yes. Well, let's stay on that, because let's look at the drum. Not only is the drum arguably the world's first instrument, as human beings, it's one of the first instruments that we pick up. I don't know of a toddler who does not break into the cabinet of the parents and pick up a
It's in pot.
spoon and a
Yes,
pot
sir. Yes,
and
sir.
start banging on it.
Yes, sir. In fact, it's funny you said that. When we would introduce the whole idea of drum circling and using drums as a platform for fundamental change, stems from the fact that when as embryos, the first rhythms, anything we hear inside our mother's wombs is a heartbeat, and it's a consistent heartbeat unless there's some arrhythmia, which makes it more interesting. But there's a consistent heartbeat, and by the time you leave that 9-month gestation period of having this vibration and that vibration only, just kind of tune you into a mantra, you might say. By the time you get out, there's a natural propensity to move towards a drum, and that so it's just innate, to tell you the truth. And you can feel your own heartbeat, and you remember the heartbeat of your mother, and that's what actually introduced you into a planet, was a percussion sound that had a consistency to it. And if you associate that with the comfort of womb and everything else, it hits all points of existence. When you're in there, your spirit is transferred. Your spirit is the transfer of the love and everything else that comes from your parent. While in this womb, hearing this sound, it's very, what's his name's Bell? Who is it? Pablos Bell? Am I saying his name right? You hear the drum, you remember a heartbeat, so to speak, but it's a subconscious response
Wow.
in a comforting place to something that you experienced when you weren't even here yet.
Wow.
And that's where we feel it from that perspective. And then it becomes a very deep metaphysical understanding. And if you can bring that to life more consistently from decade to decade in everyone's experience, indigenous folks all over the world, Ray, fundamentally, they get together, play, dance, as in a drum circle, and celebrate or have despondency times but the celebrations mostly in marriage, births, harvests, you name it, whatever the celebration, name the king, name the queen, always the drum circle kind of atmosphere is always the percussion, chanting, dancing, food, just joy, a lot of joy in it. So
Yes.
this is
Yes.
nothing new. It's just a modern twist on an ancient perspective, on an ancient practice. Everybody did it all over the planet. I don't care where you came from. You can see
Well,
it always there. Mhm.
yeah, sorry to cut you
Oh,
off.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no.
Okay, well, great stuff. So let's move forward.
Yes, sir.
Uh, I'm watching. I'm watching. I forget what it was. Something late night. The Simpsons. One of my favorite episodes of The Simpsons happened to be on where they combine with Futurama. And normally during the break, I run out for drink water or something like that.
Yeah.
And here I see you, you know, with the young lady, and she's helping you, helping you get up or something like that. I'm like, wait a minute, Brian could probably smoke me in basketball. What is going on? Then a couple months later, I see you playing God on
Yeah, I'm the same
TV,
people. Yeah.
in these commercials. So talk to us about that. How do you go from leading the drum circle to playing God
Oh, that's a way
as
to put it.
as an actor? Like, how did you get into television acting commercials?
A long time ago, I had I don't know how I signed up with an agent. Her name was Lucy King, and if I can just shout out to her for a second, she just passed away.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sorry.
I've known her for quite some time, and yeah, thank you. And Lucy gave me a call. Um, this is after I closed the shop, and I really didn't have time to do any of these kinds of things prior to this because I was always in the shop. And she said, she sent me some opportunities for auditions. I would do them, and one of the producers liked me for the first thing, which was the Patriot Home Care piece. So we went there, filmed that, and when I got done, I hadn't seen it just yet. Somebody had seen it. A friend of mine called me, and "Oh, B, you all right, man? What's going on? You feeling okay? Man, we didn't know you up in the nursing home, dog." And I'm listening, I'm learning all this, right? And I'm like, "No, no, wait. I'm just acting. I'm having a good time. It's just a bucket list." So it was funny. I guess having said that, I guess I did the job well because it really looked like that's what was going on. And they did. I was getting my feet wet, just understanding how to do the character and everything, all that jazz, and that was fun. And then I did another audition about a year later, and saw, and they wanted me to play the St. Peter character for home care, another home care company. It was a different one,
Okay.
and but this was a different twist. I didn't know. I said, I don't want to be like characterized as the old person forever and ever. So I said, I got to take this gig if they don't give it to me.
Right.
I get there, they set me up with robes and everything. They got the CGI and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is cool. And I was trying to, chastise somebody for not doing home care well. But hey, here's the kicker: the Drum Circle company actually has a vested interest in elder care. So we actually, by doing the commercials, by going into the nursing homes, even right now, I'm selling uh, insurance to elders. This is where things are being done. It'll all be on the website, like kind of a one-stop shop for elder care. We have people that are under our belts. My lady does Tai Chi. She goes into those places. We have metaphysicians and psychologists that are actually, they're independent, but they are a part of the team. So if we really needed to address any other issues, we have a couple of arms that we can use from our own team, and people can call us. Facilities can call us to come in and perhaps address some issues that they might have there, if it's prudent to do so. So it's just nice to be able to offer that. I found that a lot of my people have passed away, and I took care of them and buried them, and I realized that I miss my elders. This is something that I'm one now too, by the way, but I miss my elders, the wisdom, the care, the guidance, and all the rest of that. And anytime we leave an elder to pasture, I feel some kind of way. So I'm like, no. I have a poster. I have a publishing company, and the publishing company says one of the posters is we make nursing homes a place of healing when we come to visit. And that's the idea. Be a part of your elders' lives. Don't let them just sit there and see you every holiday, or you know
Right.
if you get
Right.
in there, just go, how do you, they raised you and made sure everything was okay for you, made sure that whatever you're too busy doing right now was made possible by the fact that they were so busy making sure you could do this. So
Right.
let's make sure that we get in there and serve our elders. No culture on the planet would leave their culture, would leave their elders to pasture. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. But in a sophisticated society, we find ourselves uh, allowing it, and we should never allow it. We should never allow it. So it has a passion behind it. I like to play the drums and hang out and do that. But hanging out with them, I sit with them afterwards. I sit with those elders afterwards and just talk. They tell me stories, and tell me about their lives and who they married, and if they still feel frisky and all the rest of that. It's just good talk from people who've lived here a couple of decades more than me. And I'm 66. So when I get a chance to sit down and talk with them, I'm still feeling some kind of way. And I still feel I feel that part of me that is always youthful before someone, and respectful and honorable before someone who is ahead of me in living. And
Yes.
that,
Yes.
and if they've been wise, because all people who are old ain't necessarily wise, but
Right.
if they've been wise, I hear something. And if they haven't been wise, I still hear something, because I know what not to do when I get there.
Yes. Yes. It's definitely a treasure to be experienced. And there's a saying that whenever an elder passes, the library burns down, because there's so many. Think of all the great things you've experienced in your life that will, when you move on to what's next, if you don't document them, won't be documented. So Well, I am just about out of time. I really wanted to get into your experience as an actor, which is one of the main reasons why I brought you here. But of course, you gave us so much more. And like many people I know who are artists, your story goes beyond just what you create. It goes, up under there. There's so many gifts and messages and reasonings. I will ask you this. Um, you said you're 66, and I know you still feel youthful. And like I said, you could probably take me to the rack on the basketball court. I foul you first, but here's my question.
My basketball play, but go ahead. It's terrible.
what is your advice to someone who is of a certain age? And I would even say, look, as young as I know people who are as young as 40 who think that their life or their opportunity to recreate themselves is over. So, what would you say to people who are looking to get involved, looking to get their second act started or third act?
Got you. Got you. You know what? Everything starts with your perception of creator. All things start with your perception of creator, or if you don't want to use that word, or you use the word God or whatever, love is first. And first thing for me would be if you recognize that loving yourself means being able to sit with yourself and to listen and be still and hear something more about yourself that you knew before. You'll find out you're connecting to things that are greater than the despondency that you hear in your head, or the sense of this is all over. In an eternal framework, it wouldn't make sense to a wise person who took the time to just sit for a second and hear what their hearts and their spirits are truly saying to them, because the rest of that is just chatter and rhetoric based on how they've looked at other things and other people's accomplishments, comparing yourself to, well, they got there, but how come I didn't get there yet? All of those kinds of comparisons shortchange yourself, because, I like to say we use each decade of living to inform the next decade. So, if I was a child before I became a man, and then I'm an older man, but I was a young man before I became an older man. And the best aspects of each of those, my childlike nature is the first thing I'm supposed to hold on to because it keeps me youthful. And I don't become despondent when I can play. And playing in life is everything. Playing with a sense of discipline, with a sense of wisdom, all of those kinds of things. Balance would be the bottom line here. Time to be still and be quiet, time to be active and enjoy and create something. Make sure that when you're doing a creative thing, it has a constructive essence to it. Helping other people. If you help yourself well, other people even see that and aspire to be like you. If you maintain that right energy, a certain sense of righteousness, clarity, not self-righteousness, just downright goodness in your soul. It's a simplicity, it's a simple thing. If you're cool, be a simple cool dude. If you're just a thinker, be a good, well-rounded thinker. Don't let anything dominate you in any way but love. If you want to be an actor, don't let acting be the end all and be all of all that you are, because that's foolishness. If you're a musician, same story. I don't care what it is. Balance is everything. Being quiet and prayerful and meditating, or however you look at it, is everything. And working out the temple that you have and keeping your body in a certain way that you can execute what's on your mind, you know, and never buy into the fact that when you get to a certain age, well, it's all over and here I go for the nursing home. I go into the nursing homes and they remind me that that's not what I wanted. That's not where I want to live. All right. So I go to service them because I care about that aspect, but it also reminds me, it gives me all the impetus I need to make sure that I stay better on point with my own issues, my own life. Evaluate those and turn them over. Turn them over. Get wisdom from counsel. I mean, there's proverbs, the scriptures tell you, if you're a king in your own world, and everybody's a king and queen in their own worlds and universes, but no king or queen ever develops anything without wise counsel, because nobody's an island. You need to get all of that info. That's why I say I miss my elders. They still inform if you listen to them. You know,
Yes.
it's the truth. And I need my down, I call it my upline. My children and grandchildren are my upline. Just like I'm my grandparents' upline. You know, they dropped the seeds, I grew up.
Okay.
So, but
Well,
that's pretty much it. I hope that wasn't too much, but it is, I think it's simpler than we would make it. And
I
you know,
thanks.
and so I'm sorry.
No, I agree. I agree. Thank you. Yeah, simpler than we make it.
Simpler than we make it. Yeah, yeah.
On that note, unfortunately, we have to say goodbye.
Gotcha.
I will put your contact information that you want in the body of the post, because this is going to be posted on the social media and hopefully website for the South Jersey Cultural Alliance.
Oh, okay.
And I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us.
Oh, anytime, Ray. I appreciate the holler and it's just that to have me on board. Listen, have a great next show, man, and to tape well. We got to catch up when we're not on camera.